Hello and welcome everyone. Myself Mijanur Rahaman, and today my topic of discussion is hormones that's secreted by the anterior pituitary. So in the previous video we have discussed about the anterior pituitary and its general introduction. Now we will discuss about the hormones that are secreted by anterior pituitary. So there are generally six hormones. One is growth hormone, one is thyroid stimulating hormone, one is adrenocorticotropic hormone, one is follicle stimulating hormone, one is prolactin, and one is luteinizing hormone. And in case of male, it is known as ICSH or interstitial cell stimulating hormone. So now, first of all, growth hormone. Growth hormone, the source of secretion is growth hormone is secreted by the somatotrophs, which are the acidophilic cells of the anterior pituitary. So growth hormone is secreted by the somatotroph cells. Now chemistry, blood level and daily output. Growth hormone is protein in nature and have a single chain of polypeptide with 191 amino acid and its molecular weight is about 21,500 dalton. Now the basal level of GH concentration in blood is about 300 gram per dl and it is up to 500 ng per dl in case of children. And the daily output is 0.5 to 1.0 mg. Transport. Growth hormone is transported in blood by the growth hormone binding proteins or GHBPS. Half-life and metabolism. Half-life of circulating growth hormone is about 20 minutes and it is degraded in liver and kidney. Now the actions of growth hormone. Growth hormone is responsible for the general growth of the body. Hypersecretion of growth hormone can cause the enormous growth of the body, leading to gigantism, and deficiency of growth hormone in children causes the stunted growth, which leads to dwarfism. Now, growth hormone is very much responsible for the growth of almost all tissues of the body, which are capable of growing. It increases the size and number of the cells by mitotic division. Growth hormone also causes specific differentiation of certain types of cells like bone cells and muscle cells. Growth hormone also acts on the metabolism of all the three types of major tissues, types of foodstuffs in the body like proteins, lipids and carbohydrates. On metabolism, growth hormone increases the synthesis of protein, mobilization of lipids and conservation of carbohydrates. So first of all, on protein metabolism. Growth hormone accelerates the synthesis of proteins by increasing the amino acid transport through the cell membrane and increasing the ribonucleic acid or RNA translation. It increases transcription of DNA to RNA. It decreases the catabolism of protein. It promotes the anabolism of protein indirectly. So let us discuss a bit. Now, increasing amino acid transport through the cell membrane. What is this? This is the concentration of amino acid in the cell increases and thus the synthesis of protein is accelerated. Now, increasing RNA translation. Growth hormone increases the translation of RNA in the cells. Because of this, the ribosome are activated and more proteins are synthesized. Growth hormone can also increase the RNA translation even without increasing the amino acid transport into the cell. Increasing transcription of DNA to RNA. It also stimulates the transcription of DNA to RNA. RNA in turn accelerates the synthesis of proteins in the cells. Now, decreasing catabolism of proteins. Growth hormone inhibits the breakdown of cellular protein. It helps the building up of the tissues. Promoting anabolism of proteins indirectly. Growth hormone increases the release of insulin from beta cells of islets of pancreas and which has anabolic effect on proteins. Now on fat metabolism. Growth hormone metabolizes fats from the adipose tissue, so the concentration of fatty acids increases in the body fluid. These fatty acids are used for the production of energy by the cell. Thus the proteins are spared. During the utilization of fatty acid for energy production, lot of acetic acid is produced by the liver and released into the body fluids, leading to ketosis. Sometimes excess mobilization of fat from the adipose tissue causes accumulation of fat in the liver, resulting in fatty liver. On carbohydrate metabolism. Major action of growth hormone on carbohydrates is the conservation of glucose. Effects of growth hormone on carbohydrate metabolism. It decreases the peripheral utilization of glucose for the production of energy. Growth hormone reduces the peripheral utilization of glucose for energy production, and it is because of the formation of acetyl coenzyme acetyl CoA during the metabolism of fat influenced by GH. Now the acetyl CoA inhibits the glycolytic pathway. Moreover, since the growth hormone increases the mobilization of fat, the more fatty acid is available for the production of energy. By this way, growth hormone reduces the peripheral utilization of the glucose for energy production. Now it also increases the deposition of glycogen in the cells. Since the glucose is not utilized for energy, that's why it is converted into glycogen and deposited in the cell, and it is stored. Now decrease in the uptake of glucose by the cells. As glycogen deposition increases by the cells become saturated with glycogen, so that's why no more glucose can enter into the cell from the blood, so the blood glucose level increases. Diabetogenic effect of GH. Now hypersecretion of GH increases blood sugar glucose level enormously. It causes continuous stimulation on the beta cells in the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas, and increases also the secretion of insulin. In addition to this, the growth hormone also stimulates beta cell directly and causes secretion of insulin. Because of this excess stimulation, beta cells are burnt out at one stage, and this causes the deficiency of insulin, leading to true diabetes mellitus or full-blown diabetes mellitus. This effect of GH is known as diabetogenic effect. Now on bones. In embryonic stage, growth hormone is responsible for the differentiation and development of bone cells. In later stages of the life, growth hormone increases the growth of the skeleton, and it increases both length as well as the thickness of the bone. Now, in bones, growth hormone increases the synthesis and deposition of proteins by chondrocytes and osteogenic cells. Now, multiplication of chondrocytes and osteogenic cells by enhancing the interstitial calcium absorption, formation of new bones by converting chondrocytes into osteogenic cell, and availability of calcium for mineralization of bone matrix. Growth hormone also increases the length of the bones until epiphysis fuses with the shaft, which occurs at the time of puberty. After the epiphyseal fusion, the length of the bones cannot be increased. However, it stimulates the osteoblast strongly, so the bone continues to grow in thickness and throughout the life. So, what we come to know that bone can be increased in length up until the puberty, if before the epiphyseal fusion. If the epiphyseal fusion is occurred, then the bone length cannot be increased, and then only the osteoblast cell can act, and the strength of the bone can increase and thickness of the bone can increase throughout the life. Such the jawbone and the skull bone become thicker under the influence of GH. Hypersecretion of GH before the fusion of epiphysis with the shaft bones causes enormous growth of the skeleton, which leads to gigantism, and hypersecretion of GH after the fusion of epiphysis can cause the shaft of the bones leads to condition called acromegaly.